Hello, friends. Today we are talking about artist block. You know, that feeling of staring at the blank page, wondering how long it will take you to think of something that inspires you to create. Well, I just may have discovered a product that can help you with just that. Introducing two Tumbleweeds art dice. Art dice that include 9 color-coded wooded dice plus guidelines for all users. You simply roll the dice, choose the selection that inspires you, and then create away. But wait, I don't want to just tell you. Let me show you. So here, my friends, we have art dice, a set of 9 wooden dice to inspire drawing and painting. This is produced by two Tumbleweeds, and it tells you to expect the unexpected. The solution to artist block. When faced with a blank canvas, it can be hard to know where to start. Whether you're an artist, a teacher, or just want to dabble with drawing or painting, art dice can help you find inspiration, develop your skills, vary your style, or collaborate creatively with others. With thousands of combos, you're bound to encounter something unexpected and different. So roll the dice, create fearlessly. You never know what's inside of you until you try. Love that. Love the way they advertise that and pushes it forward. You never know what's inside you until you try. Paint to enjoy it and to have fun. So inside are 9 color-coded wooden dice plus guidelines for use. And those dice will have medium, color, 3 subjects, style, texture, setting, and mood. The actual dice size is 1 inch, and they say it's perfect for artists, teachers, novice, art students, rainy days, and gifting. And I'll be able go ahead and tell you right now, I found these to be absolutely wonderful. Crazy combos, crazy inspirations you can get from it. And it really has helped me through some artist block at the time that I've been testing them. So let's just take a look here. You're going to get 9 dice, and inside there is going to be a little brochure that kind of explains everything. Variations through the possibilities are only limited by your imagination. Here are a few ideas to have fun with and bring out your inner artist. You can make it a series. You can do speed mode. You can do a collaborative, do a collaboration. You can use it in teaching with demonstration by style demonstration or a variety of different modes. So really useful tool in a lot of different areas. I love the fact that it can be used in the classroom for a teaching tool. So much inspiration because there are so many different combos. Now on the back is going to tell you basic instructions. 1, you roll. Roll 1 of the subject dice with all the other dice, or select and roll just a few dice. Feel free to re-roll. So they actually encourage re-rolling. 2, brainstorm. Follow the roll exactly or use it as inspirational starting point. How many different interpretations can you think of for each roll? And then 3, create. Draw or paint your roll by be fearless, have fun. So love all of this. Love, love, love. Now this product is produced in 2022. It does say Tumbleweed, which is the company. It does not necessarily say where the product is made. Scan here for product support in a surprise. So you do get that included. The surprise might be like a tutorial or something. I'll be honest, I have not gone to check it out. Designed in the US, made in China. That's what I was looking for. So these were designed here in South United States, but actually made and produced in China. So real neat product. Here you're gonna have your medium die, and the medium gives you your choices between graphite pencil, markers, ink, acrylic, watercolor, charcoal, pastels. So that's all this on the medium die. Then next you have color, which has black and white, yellow, orange, red, blue, green, and purple. There are 3 subject dies, which kind of have different subject themes: transportation, building, sports and games, garbage, food and drink, and man-made object. Plants, trees, seashells, flowers, mountains, insect, something old. Or human adult, mammal, human child, bird, fish, and reptile. All of the dice seemed pretty cool. I mean, there was a little bit of like skip and printing on one here and there, like they're on blue, but I'm still able to make out what it is. And maybe that's just a fluke. There was another one that may have had that, but let me continue. You have style, which has realism. And see, the printing there isn't the best either, but still very readable. You have surreal, fantasy, abstract, or modern, impressionist, or pop art. Then there's the texture die, which is zoom out, zoom in, detailed, soft, smooth, blurred, and hard rough. Then there is the mood die: anger, joy, love, calm, sorrow, and humor. And finally, there's the setting die: underwater, landscape, cityscape, seascape, indoors, still life, portrait. And again, the idea is you can roll all of the dice. You can just choose a few of the dice. You can make up whatever combination of dice you want in order to roll. And you can use that in order to break through artist block. Use it, even if you're not breaking through artist block, just use it as inspiration in order to come up with your own concept and idea. Roll it, then find maybe a swatching challenge or a color challenge that you can dive into using that thing. There are so many different things you can use it for. You can just putting together courses, putting together classes. I just think there are endless possibilities with this. So let's stop talking about them and actually put them to use. So we're gonna do a virtual roll. So let's get our roll on and see what we land on. And I'm only gonna be using a few of the dice in my roll just to kind of limit the things that I have to think about when it comes to putting something together from the words that are given to me. So let's do a little roll here and see what happens. And here we have it, friends. My roll and what I'm going to be using as my inspiration. I used the color die and got yellow, orange. Which one is the green one? Settings, and got still life, portrait, and one of the subject dies with plants and trees. So let's see what I can create from this. So friends, I thought about it, and using the words I rolled, I decided on doing something with a pumpkin. So I sketched on my scratch paper and transferred it to my sketchbook here. I did do a traceable that will be available over on Patreon, which I know I owe you all a few traceables, I think. And don't worry, I will get them all posted with this one. Now, the set of paints is a newbie set that I am testing out. Actually, at this point, I'm about done with the testing phase. However, this set will not have an individual review, but instead be included in a massive review video I am planning for later on in this month. So be sure to subscribe and hit your notification bell so you don't miss it. Now, with this paint set, I would love to tell you the colors I used, but this set doesn't have color names included, so I'm calling them by sight. The best I can tell you is that I used a medium yellow to start and then added an orange, allowing them to mix on the paper. For a shadow color, I decided to mix it from the opposite of my main color. In this case, it would be blue since it is directly across from orange on the color wheel. The issues I experienced is that the paint set has quite a few fillers in it, so the paint became thick on the paper quickly, leaving that almost chalky look at it, although the paints were not chalky themselves. You all know what I'm talking about, right? You know how a paint can look economical as it dries? Hopefully I'm explaining myself well enough for you all at this point. Jump in the comments section and let me know. Let me know if you understand what I mean with that sort of economical feel that some paints can have. Now, for the leaves, I started with what I am assuming is like yellow green, or maybe it's called light green. Then I tried to do a little blending at the bottom of my pumpkin, but the paint lifted instead. So I did go back in to reblend that area. So what I was using was my darkest orange shade. I started from the bottom and blended up towards the middle of the pumpkin. I mixed that color using what I'm assuming is like a true orange and maybe vermilion. I just kept thinking that without pigment numbers, it was a bit of a miss for me if a set doesn't at least have color names. I even went back to watch the video where I unboxed this set just to make sure there wasn't a swatch sheet that was included that maybe I misplaced or something. Yet, I didn't see anything in that video. For the areas in between each segment of the pumpkin, I used mass tone vermilion and lightly brushed it in. At this point, my paper is actually still damp, and it's at the point that you can get some really beautiful blends with your watercolors. This is definitely a technique I recommend you try out if you've never given it a try. Now, the paper I'm using in painting on is Honamule. This is a custom sketchbook sent to me by one of my amazing artsy friends and viewers and supporters, and I love this paper. And it's a good thing too. Sometimes with using a paint set like this, I feel like a good quality paper is definitely required. Now here we have me working on the stem, and for that stem, the base was like a burnt sienna, and then I went in with what I'm going to call a burnt umber in order to, just kind of etch out the actual shape of the stem. And then I decided I needed to put the actual veining in on my leaves. It's a mixture of pretty much every green in the set, simply because I knew it would sort of mud up but still leave me a green shade. The thing about paints that you get that may not necessarily be, super bad quality, but not the best quality, is that you sort of have to learn how to work with them. And over the years, I've tested and reviewed quite a few economical sets that, I hate to say were not necessarily the best ones. So you sort of learn to kind of work with what you have and try to pull off the best composition you can. Now, with that being said, these are not the type of sets that I typically would recommend a beginner use, because I don't think they're going to be conducive to necessarily learning the techniques that you need to learn, nor will they give you the joy that I think everybody needs when delving into watercolors or color pencils or alcohol markers, just art creation in general. We're chasing that joyous feeling, that contentment that it gives us, and products that work against that are not products that I typically try to recommend. But as I said, I'm going to get a little bit more in detail about this actual paint set in that massive review video. After my paper dried just a little bit more, I did go in and emphasize and enhance colors. Maybe I laid down another layer of really watery wash just to punch up the color, just as you see me doing here on the leaves. Now, I think that my illustration is a little color booky, or maybe it has more of a kind of what whimsical comical feel to it, and it wasn't what I was going for, but it's where I was able to go, especially with the paints. Again, I'm really going to commend the paper that I'm working on, because I feel like it was the tool that allowed me to do the layering, do the blending, and I feel like the paints would have probably lifted on themselves, lifted by themselves, excuse me. But this paper, this paper was a gem to work on. This is definitely something I don't have to do a review on in order to recommend. I really do like Hahnemühle paper, and I've tried other paper. I'm currently testing out their sugarcane paper, which I plan on making a custom sketchbook with here really soon, and I really like that paper as well. So there's two different types of Hahnemühle, or maybe it's Hahnemühle, or maybe you pronounce it both ways, but there's two types of their paper that I've tried that I am really happy with, and I do believe I'm going to start investing in that particular brand of paper a little bit more. The shadow that's at the bottom is mixed from an assumption of ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, and burnt umber mixed together. And then I actually took that color and mixed it into the darker green that I did the veins with. That's why the shadow has sort of a green hue. I felt like that was appropriate. And then I blended it out with a little bit more water at the bottom. I'm going to constantly be blending. I don't believe that this paper is actually 100% cotton, although it's a really good paper. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to ask the person who sent me this sketchbook if that paper is 100% cotton. I don't think it is. Either way, even if it's not, it still performs beautifully, and it allowed me to layer. After I got as far as I could with the paints, before I felt like if I put any more paint on here, it's just going to be, it's going to look dead. It was going to look dead. I decided to grab some of my water-based watercolor markers, different brands here. I think I'm using like some King Art Pro brush pens. I'm using some Color brush pens. I think I'm going to actually use some Super Black Creative Mark fine liners, and that's what I'm using to put in the center and the stamen section of that forget me not, or it could be a cherry blossom if that's what you wanted to call it, a flower that's sort of in that shape along those lines. Dogwoods, once you draw one of them, you kind of can turn it into either one of those. And then I decided, as I was looking at the shadow, let's make this ground, since we have shadow here. So I'll throw in a little horizon back there and kind of fill out this area, put in some green, give the indication of grass. And then the more I did it, the more I sort of liked the way it looked. So I added in some shadows, and then I decided, okay, well, let's put in a sky too. So I started to wet around the pumpkin, because initially I was just going to let the color flow just around the area of the pumpkin and just fade out into the paper. But then I decided I wanted to do a full sky there, just make it not necessarily a flat wash, but this sort of watercolory, see-through, splashy, kind of layered, watery look. You're going to see what I mean in a minute. So I took the rest of that brown, watered down on my brush, and spread it out across the background. And then I took the same light blue that I was using for the sky and covered that. I just wanted to give it some different texture, some different feel. I'm splashing yellow watercolor in the background. I'm splashing water into that wash, and as you can see, it kind of gives you these little white spots, just adding texture to the background. And then I'm going to work a little bit more on the grassy area, a few indications of grass, and just bring it to a point where I feel like I'm okay with it. And there, my friends, we have the two Tumbleweed art dice. I have had a blast playing around with these, rolling them, getting different combinations, seeing what I can do. And I'm definitely going to be using them much more in the future. I've used them over 2 to 3 kind of illustrations already at this point. I did show you guys like a magnolia flower earlier in the video. I've done this, and I also did a ladybug, which I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. I divided some mixed media paper up by Arteza into 4 blocks, and I did roll a couple of times. In this roll, I zoom in, still life, insect purple watercolor, and I painted a ladybug on some purple flowers there, on like this branch. And then this roll was food, drink, yellow, orange, still life portrait. So I did a portrait of like an orange pinwheel there. And I did roll for this one, which would be food, drink, soft, smooth, indoors, blue. So I do still have 2 other sections here that I'm kind of going to play around with, which is why I haven't removed the tape. But for the most part, every combination has kind of made me kind of think, and it's been really fun to come up with something to paint from it. And I was really happy to be able to share both this illustration as well as this product with you all today. So no doubt about it, something I recommend without any hesitation. I think that they are a wonderful thing to add to your art supply arsenal. Maybe you've heard of, what is it, the Sarah Cray color cube. I feel like this is a alternative to that, just a little bit more interactive. Now we will be eventually getting around to a video about the color cube as well, but I really wanted to go ahead and release this video on the art dice first, simply because I felt like they are super economical, coming in at $19.95, so just under $20. You can get them on Amazon, and if you're a Prime member, you literally can get them the same day or next day, depending on when you order them. So very accessible, very reasonably priced, and absolutely amazing, ideal for both fun and or work. And without a doubt, 5 out of 5 stars. Would recommend them, no hesitation. So guys, hopefully that is something that can resonate with you, and the information and the things that you've seen in this video can help you make a decision about whether or not art dice are something that works for you. If you found anything in this video helpful or enjoyed hanging out at all, don't forget to sprinkle a little love and give the video a thumbs up. Go ahead and share. Sharing is caring, and maybe someone else would love to see this video on the art dice. Share us on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and Twitter and any and everything you can share us on. Let's get this channel pushed and out there, friends. With your help, I know it can be a success. If you're new and you haven't subscribed, or returning and haven't, go ahead, hit that subscription button and notification bell so you will know when we upload our new videos and or when we go live. By all means, jump in the comments section. Let me know, have you used the art dice? If you haven't, is this something you think you would be interested in, especially at this very economical price of $19.95? If you've used the color cube and the art dice, let me know what you think about one versus the other, because I am, again, will be doing a video on the color cube and maybe even a comparison video somewhere later on down the line. But use the comment section to let me know your thoughts and your feelings on this video and on this product. Check the video description for all of the relevant links: the Facebook group, the Patreon group, the Etsy page, Defiant Art website, as well as a direct link to the Bamboo Voyager palette, Defiant Art's first branded product that we released here from the studio. So definitely think about supporting us in that aspect. And remember, as I tell you guys at the end of every single video, just keep creating.